Hi, this is Dr. Grande. I hope you find this video useful. If that's the case, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Does that make sense, how that could be connected to the fun going away and the anxiety increasing? And
yeah.
the need, like having that need to get back to the house?
Right, exactly.
Right, so we have that first step, right? So you have the feeling, which you talked about, and then you've identified the automatic thought.
Like what caused the feeling.
What caused the feeling, exactly.
Okay.
So that's really, in my opinion, that's really the hardest part of this process.
Yeah.
Is kind of exploring those feelings and then really working to connect what was I thinking right as that happened.
Like what happened right before I felt that way.
And you were able to do that just here. Right?
I think that's a really good point. Sometimes I don't know, what you called it, the automatic thought. Sometimes I don't know that, but I can identify I'm feeling some sort of way. But like you said, when I really think about it, what happened right before that, I can kind of identify what caused that feeling. But I don't necessarily notice it right away.
That's exactly it. Yeah, oftentimes we have so many thoughts throughout the day that no one thought typically is going to stand out. Well, we're going to say, wait a second, I just had that thought.
Right.
But the emotion,
I definitely notice.
you know when that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's distressing. And you can make that kind of a memory device. So when you have that emotion, that triggers that memory to say, hey, I need to check on what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And at some point, probably in the next session or maybe one after that, we'll look at some different homework devices that you can use to, like records that you can use to capture those thoughts.
Okay.
As a way of not losing that throughout the day, because you have that emotion, you have that thought. If you don't write it down, it's hard to remember
Right.
what that was. And we can probably start there, with just having you write it down for now as it happens. And I'll get into the more formal thought record and everything later on. But I want to make sure I stay with what we started with here, which is this process. So we have the feeling, and that's fairly easy to identify. You seem like you're well connected to that. And the thought, which all of us, it takes a little work to get that, but you did very well there. You got that thought. And now let's take a look at how we respond to that thought. So let's go back to that situation with your family.
Okay.
All right. So you're having fun, but that ends. The anxiety increases.
Yeah.
And the thought is, there's someone in my house. Right? Which again makes sense because someone was in your house and then eventually took your car. What can you, in terms of evaluation, what would you assign at that moment, like in terms of how much you believe that thought? So we talked about how much you believe the response before, another response. What percent of your mind, believes that thought, that someone's in your house?
I think like maybe right in the moment, like right after I have the thought, it's pretty high. And I think it kind of tapers from there, so like maybe like 80%. And then sometimes like, with my husband there, or maybe with myself when I've calmed down, I can say, okay, well, the chances of this happening again, and I kind of, like you said, can talk to myself and say, okay, well, the chances of us getting robbed like 2 times in rapid succession maybe are not that high.
So in the very beginning, 80%.
Yeah,
right?
it's
So you
pretty
really,
high.
You really believe someone's there.
I'm convinced someone is in my house.
And that makes sense that would be scary.
Yeah.
But then it starts to subside.
Right.
And it sounds like you're already applying, maybe without even knowing it, you're already applying self-talk, or you did.
Well, I think it started maybe with my husband saying, like, April, there's no one in the house. Like, he's reassuring me that, like, we locked our door. So I think it started maybe with him saying, what you would call, like, an adaptive response to kind of, like, try to calm me down when I was unable to do it myself. And then I'm like, okay, well, you're right, we did. He reminds me, like, you did lock the doors, or he locked the doors. And then I start to remember that myself and kind of calm myself down.
All right, so he's giving you adaptive response ideas.
Like, when I'm too anxious to think about it myself. And then I start to kind of do it myself.
So that's a very good support, and certainly one that you can use to help, especially in the moment, to create those self-talk ideas.